Okay, nearly ready to start. I just need to have a bit of a stretch and I'll be with you in just a few seconds. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Stilgherrian, and this is the Great Unboxening live stream number 2, coming to you live from Campsie in the inner southwest of Sydney. Now, let me explain what this is about, although I will just say hello to Jim and hello to Wolfcat, who are here nice and early. They've heard this story, but if you're stumbling across this, let me tell you. I have been living in the Blue Mountains for 15 years. That's west of Sydney, about 100 kilometres where I was. And that was always just meant to be for a few weeks, not 15 years. But recently I have, thanks to the snarky platypus buying an apartment in Campsie and saying, do you want to live in Campsie? I've moved down and I run a crowdfunder, which has helped pay for some of those costs. That's still running. Let me just put that up on screen while I'm chatting. But I had all this stuff that had been in storage for 15 years and I don't really need it anymore, especially books, and you can see some of them behind me there. That's about half of them, I reckon. There's 2 crates of vinyl records. One of those crates has gone missing. There's some DVDs, some CDs, some other bits and pieces. There's some VHS videos of gay porn. Would you believe the things we used to do to get our rocks off back in the analog days? That's another whole thing. There's a lot of backstory at that URL just there, stilgherrian.com/relocate. If you go through, and yes, Strider LPs, there is some vinyl. Next week, next Tuesday night, which will be the 28th of April, I'll be running through the crate that I've got, and you can make offers. Now, if you look in the video comments down below, not that URL, but down in on the YouTube thing, you'll see that I've linked to library thing where I put a catalogue of all the books that I'm going to be talking about and giving away. Not giving away, selling. Some will be given away later, but some are important. So today we're going to talk about 6 in particular, which I've put prices up for because they're kind of special books, and I'm going to run through them, and then I'm going to talk about some of the other things that are in the first batch. Is it just Jim and is it just Jim and Wolfcat and Strider? I assume that's Strider LPs. I'm making an assumption there. Here tonight. Look, that's fine. I'll be going through it fairly quickly. Now, the 6 books that are special. Let me show you. First one. Oh, do you like my quoll? That's Nat King quoll. Just there. This one. Now, Bill Drummond, half of the excellent music group The KLF, amongst other things. He has written several books, and he got it into his head that he write books at the stages in his life when he reached an age that matched the rotational speed of a vinyl or acetate record, in fact, before that. So way back in the day, there were 17 RPM records. The 78s, I think, ran at that. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, then the old vinyl albums ran at 33 RPM. So when he was 33, he wrote a book. And then when he was 45, he wrote this book, which is absolutely fascinating stuff. That one, I've done my research online, so, you know, you're not going to be able to rip me off. That does appear to be, for one in average condition like this one is, about $30 Australian plus postage. Just send me an offer. Second one, It's going to be quite boring, really, if I just talk about, because I should tell you stories about them. I still am a huge fan of the KLF, and I've got somewhere a VHS tape of their Stadium House quote tour unquote, which, I mean, wasn't a tour. This is on the list, but this one has already been taken. Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Douglas Hofstadter. People will know him as writing a book called Girdle Escher Bark. Gen X nerds will know him. That's another book by him. That one's sold. Thank you very much. What was next? Now this. The Woomera project in Australia. Now, Australians will know Woomera out in the desert. It was a rocket testing range and whatever. The story of the original purpose of it was that it would be a test range for Britain's intercontinental ballistic missile, the Blue Streak, I want to say it was. Anyway, Britain decided that testing nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles on the actual Great Britain was not a good idea. They thought, yeah, the Australians have got plenty of deserts. Why don't we blow up nuclear weapons there, which they did at Maralinga, and before that at something atoll, forgotten what it was called. Australia sort of got into that, and they built what was, and I believe still is, the largest instrumented rocket testing range in the world that's over land. And an official, I should say that at the end of it, the British said, oh, look, thank you for all that. Oh, that's ready to go, is it? Look, thank you, but we've decided to buy Polaris from the United States instead and have nuclear missile submarines. But thank you. This is the official history of that project. Now, it's a big fat book. I put it up on the list for 200 Australian, mostly because that's the price people are they're selling it for $300 or more, which is interesting because if you just want it as a high-resolution PDF file, it's a free download from the Defence Science and Technology Group's website in Department of Defence. Great book. It's got some fantastic period photos of early computers, early test equipment, and so on, and some very racist cartoons. Because, you know, there was definitely no one living out there when they set off nuclear weapons or fired rockets into the area. Not at all. That's a fantastic book. Way back, I interviewed the author, Peter Morton. One of the conditions of him writing this was that he, could not have the Department of Defence change it. Anyway, that is a fantastic book. I bring that to your attention. Better won't sell that one. Not at that price. We'll see what happens. This process, by the way, once I've gone through everything, I will, give everyone who supports this further. Everyone who supports this, I'm so tired. I'll give everyone who supports me first dibs. That's what I'm trying to say, and then we'll see how it goes. Random Burn. Hey, Burn, you thought Mururoa was French. Yes, I'm not thinking about Mururoa. I'm thinking of the place that was off the northwest coast of Western Australia where the first nukes were set off before they went to Maralinga because they had to build the infrastructure at Maralinga. Maybe it was something island. Maybe. Why don't I look it up? By the way, this being the usual YouTube delay, there's about a minute between when I say something and you hear it and you say something in the chat and then get back and I do it and then react. So Australia, this is a bit low energy today, isn't it? Nuclear tests. Nuclear weapons, Montebello Island off the northwest coast of Western Australia. Hey, Nine Wombats, good to see you there. Who else haven't I said hello to? Oh, that's who's Strata LPs. That's fair enough. Colin Teely and Ground Zero. What's that? The children's author way back. Don't have any of his stuff. What did I just do? I just did Fire Across the Desert. Really good. Next up, this is embarrassing. The next one on the list is Murmurs of Earth by Carl Sagan. That's the book about the golden record that was put on Voyager spacecraft, I want to say, 2 of them, and going out to the world. So there's several editions of that book, and a later one actually had a CD, which was the thing. This book doesn't have the CD in it, but you can just download that from NASA's website from memory. I couldn't find the book. This may look like neat bookshelves behind me, but just over there in front of the desk is an enormous pile of books, and I looked through there, and Snarky Platypus looked through there earlier. We couldn't see it, so I've put it somewhere. Anyway, Murmurs from Earth, that's on the list. Now the other number 5 of these. I hope you're finding this very exciting. The Stratocaster Chronicles. Fender's great guitar. I mean, the Telecaster was first, wasn't it? The Stratocaster, look at that. Everyone knows what that looks like. Fender Australia was there we go. Fender Australia was a client of mine for a long time, and I happened to be there when the 50th birthday of the Stratocaster happened. This is very much a luscious coffee table book of the history of the guitar. I'm not very good at this. Players. Beautifully produced. And this one does have a CD in the back of rare interviews and performances of famous players' styles. So put that one up. $50. I'm going to take bids for that. Actually, no, it sells for $50. I'm not sure whether you can still buy it new from the States. You probably can. The photography is just fantastic. And I didn't judge this well, did I? Here's something else to think about. Catnip. Now, when I lived in Enmore in Sydney over 15 years ago, we had 2 cats. Now I don't have any cats, and this is there. So if someone lives near Campsie, you can come around and just have that. If you have a cat, only 2/3 of cats get high on catnip. But weirdly, the other third can sometimes get high on valerian if you have that in your garden. I've looked up what happens if humans have this. Nothing very much. If you have a lot, it'll give you a headache. Apparently, it's a little bit of a, might help you sleep. There's an old herbal remedy about that. Anyway, catnip. It's probably stale. It goes off. I don't know. And the last of the 6 books is that. Yeah, look, the sound level. I am sending it upstream to YouTube at the correct level. I don't know what they're doing with it. This book, very fat book. Stephen Wolfram is the man who wrote Mathematica, the mathematics software used by many professional academic mathematicians, and made him a bit of a fortune. And then he went away and spent 10 years writing this, a new kind of science. At the time, this was being promoted as if it was up there with Sir Isaac Newton's Principia Mathematica. Oh, that's flaring. In that it talked like really a whole new approach to mathematics. it does. I have read it. I didn't read all the appendices, but I have read it. You come back here, microphone. It posits that once you get down to the kind of very small level, the quantum level, maybe everything is cellular automata, as in the cellular automatons, and he talks about how a lot of mathematics does seem to work better as a kind of iterative process. It's fairly heavy going. I mean, mostly because it's just long. If you dive into the appendices, you're really going to lose yourself into the maths. I found it fascinating. It came out 25-ish years ago, I want to say, because there is a 20th anniversary edition. And the reviews on that on Amazon are just embarrassing because they go, why is it so long? Oh, he doesn't say anything new and interesting, blah, blah, blah. And then you look a little further and you find they've only got about 80 pages in and then have decided they don't like it. That's up on the list too. What did I put that at? $50? Yeah, because the later edition is quite a bit more. It'll probably be about $20 postage too. Postage. I was trying to work out, is there a simple way to go, it's cost this much, it's that postage? No. It's about which packaging and how long, and Australia Post seems to think there's mass and cubic and cubic weight or something. And then you've got to work out how big. Oh, nah, hopeless stuff. Hopeless stuff. So that's those. Very quickly now, I will run. Oh, what else can I tell you? Jim said I'll take that for 50. I don't know which one he means. Drop me a note, mate. Because I suppose you need the Stephen Wolfram. I got a haircut today, and I thought, has he taken enough off at the top? Up like that. I don't know. This is all very, very difficult. Looking at some of the other books, if you have a look on the website, I have put up a first batch. I'm only going to run through like a few of them, excuse me, and mostly the categories. These here, it's flaring a bit, sorry. I faffed about with the lighting for about nearly half an hour to try and get it so that I was properly lit and you didn't get this light reflecting off there. I gave up. These are a whole lot of what were once incredibly expensive technical books for computing and systems administration. And there's everything there from JavaScript 1.1, which now, of course, is horrendously out of date, a CSS cookbook for cascading style sheets for the web, which is now terribly out of date. I'm not sure whether there's anything in there of any value to anyone, but I've stuck them up into this category. Maybe someone who is going for like restoring old computers or something would find that useful. I mean, there's programming Perl there, but it's way back at about Perl 4 or something. But, and I'm not sure whether I've put all these in the first batch though, but the classic textbook about the programming language Pascal, Algorithms plus Data Structures equals Programs by Niklaus Wirth. That was a core textbook when I was at university. Probably isn't now. Does anyone use Pascal now? I don't think so. Why don't I put it on that side where I put room for exactly this purpose? Basic programming. Is this actually Kemeny and Kurtz? It is Kemeny and Kurtz, second edition. That was probably the first programming language that I worked in. that's it. Again, if you are restoring, I don't know, an Apple II or something, some old PC, that might be very handy. The Snowball 4 programming language. Don't ask. That was a thing we did. What else is up there? Letters of J.A.R. Tolkien. That's in hardback. That might be interesting. There's an old episode, an old edition of the Macquarie Dictionary there. There's also a whole lot of their out of shot photography books, 35mm photography. They are still of value even if you're using a digital camera, because it teaches some of them. It's not just the technicals; they're different, but how to compose a photo, how to think about light, all that. I did a lot of 35mm photography back in the day, and there's a whole lot there. There's another category there, which is books of those big, grand BBC television series. You know, like David Attenborough's done heaps of them. Hey, Static San. Hey-o. Hey, Keith Duddy as well. You should scroll back and watch from the beginning later. All of those grand television series came with books, right? The very first of those series from the BBC was this one, Jay Bronovsky's The Ascent of Man, which we would title slightly differently these days. But that was like the entire story of the evolution of humans. Well, actually, it was more civilization rather than of humans, because he goes from DNA to the first humans in a couple of pages. There we are. Hunting and gathering, and deserts, and a naked child for some reason. Oh, I've just said that. That's going to get the channel banned, isn't it? So there's that one. I've got... This one was brilliant. The Body in Question, essentially about the human body. Jonathan Miller, the British satirist and television producer, was also a medical doctor. And this one's really good. And what I love about the staging is that every single, well, maybe not every single one, but nearly all the objects that he handles are on the shelf behind him, and it just, I don't know, it's lovely staging. I've also got to remember that you're up there, not down there. That's a good one. I've got some of them in hardback, some of them in softback. I think I've put them in the database of Library Thing correctly. What other ones definitely I have there? The Ascent of Man, The Making of Mankind by Richard Leakey. That's the one about evolution, human evolution. Out of the Fiery Furnace, which is the history of metals and metallurgy. The Body in Question I've mentioned. Some other bits and pieces there. What else can I... Oh, a book on bonsai. I never got into that. I don't know why I had that book. Maybe it was someone else's. I'll do just two more, and then I'll fuck off. And I will say static sound. I've never worked out how to pronounce that. Yeah, I got a huge stack of 35mm negatives over there, which have never been printed. The stuff that I pulled out of storage, there's just... As I say, I hadn't had it, looked at it for 15 years. It's been in storage. And if you've been following that, there were 3 big modules, these big wooden boxes that removalists now use, which are designed to fit into a standard shipping container. And my stuff at some point was moved into 3 of those, and they've lost one of them. I don't know. Crate of vinyl records is missing. My good Aeron chair, my Aeron office chair, which I noticed a new one would cost me 2,400 Australian dollars. So I'm pretty keen to get that one back. 2 more I'll mention. This book. This is amazing. IBM and the Holocaust. IBM and the Holocaust by Erwin Black, I want to say. Edwin Black. My memory's pretty good. Shortly before World War II, the head of IBM around the world thought, maybe we should, put all of our German holdings for IBM Germany or whatever it was called into, a holding company in Switzerland so that if war does break out, we'll still be able to make money. And that was good. And also, if you're wondering how the Nazis managed to, organise the roundup of 6 million Jews and goodness knows how many other people with mental illness, or they were gay, or they were gypsies, or they were communists, or whatever, they use IBM punch card machines. And IBM for a long time denied having any knowledge of that, but this book, documents it all. As it says on the subtitle, the strategic alliance between Nazi Germany and America's most powerful corporation, as it was when this was written. I mean, it'd be Apple now, wouldn't it, or Amazon, or Palantir, someone. So everything was done with IBM punch card machines. But the thing is, it can't have been done without IBM's knowledge, because all of those punch card sorters and collators and whatever weren't owned by the Nazis. They were leased, and they came with a technician to do the setup. It's the kind of job we'd call a database administrator these days, designing the searches and working out how to do the sorting and collating and print out cards and lists and whatever. Excellent book. That's not on the one I've put a price on. That's make an offer. If you want to make an offer, I will say to people, have a look at, what you would be paying for it on this online secondhand market. And pitch it a little low, and I'll probably accept it, because I just want to move all this stuff, and I want to move it to friends, friends, supporters, fans, the gullible. Oops, you're not meant to say that out loud, are you? The last one I'll mention, and it is up on the list, I think. Yes. Culpeper's Herbal, or first published in 1600 and something. Culpeper's Complete Herbal, consisting of a comprehensive description of nearly all herbs with their medicinal properties and directions for compounding the medicines extracted from them. I can find out when this edition was printed. So anyway, he was a 17th. Nicholas Culpeper was a 17th century astrological herbalist. There's a thing. And I just love this because A, it's so totally wrong in many places, and B, his writing style. And one of my favourite entries, and before I read that, let me just check the chat, obviously. Yes, you did try to get me to go to Twitch where the lag is typically only 5 seconds, but have you seen the sort of people who use Twitch? No, it's not for my audience. There's a call for another pub forum. Yeah. I actually owe you all another public house forum where we record a podcast in the pub. Mark Humphreys was on the last one a couple of years ago. Now he'd be up for another one. He found that a lot of fun. Nicholas Culpepper on basil (brackets garden or sweet). He has a description of it, which is just, what it looks like. Place, he says, it groweth in gardens. Well done, mate. Then tells what time of year to plant it and all that, which is irrelevant for the Southern Hemisphere. And then he says, government and virtues. This is the herb which all authors are together by the ears about and rail at one another, like lawyers. Galen and Dioscorides, a Greek philosopher, hold it not fitting to be taken inwardly, and Chrysippus rails at it with downright Billingsgate rhetoric. Pliny and the Arabian physicians defend it. For my own part, I presently found that speech true, non nostrum inter nos tantus componere lites. You can work out the Latin for yourself, I'm sure. And away to Dr. Reason I went, who told me it was an herb of Mars and under the scorpion, and therefore called basilicon. And it is no marvel if it carry a kind of virulent quality with it. Being applied to the place bitten by venomous beasts or stung by a wasp or hornet, it speedily draws the poison to it. Every like draws its like. Blah, blah, blah. If you lay basil to rot in horse dung, it will breed venomous beasts. Hilarius, a French physician, affirms upon his own knowledge that an acquaintance of his, by common smelling to it, had a scorpion bred in his brain. Something is the matter with this herb. He goes on to a bit, and then he says, oh, sorry if that rattled the microphone. To conclude, it expelleth both birth and afterbirth, and as it helps the deficiency of Venus in one kind, so it spoils all her actions in another. I dare write no more of it. That's basil. I don't really have much else to say. Feel free to make offers. Feel free to make offers on anything on the list, not just the ones I've gone through tonight or that first batch. I will be sending out an email to remind people to send in your offers. If by next week for those, I'll start putting them up on Gumtree or eBay or both or whatever. Next week, we'll go through the vinyl. That's on Tuesday, the 28th of April, 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Is there anything on... Oh! A Gregory's Road Atlas from... For those of you without access to the internet. It's all of Australia. Oh, Jim's just noticed I was going to talk about postage. Only that it's very confusing. Most of the books in the database, I think for some of the hardbacks, people have put their weight in there. I know the big fat ones will be about $20 around Australia. The smaller ones maybe about 12. Paperbacks, you could probably stick a couple of them in a $5 thing. I don't know who posts things. All these people who run Etsy sites or do Gumtree for a living must live and breathe this stuff. And I don't know. Is that enough about postage? No need to apologise for running late. You used to stream as streaming for several hours. What the hell for? I know what the hell for. it's games that they're playing or stuff that they're doing. No, you don't want me doing that. That's what that's like what Joe Rogan does. Do you want me to turn into Joe Rogan? I feel like there's something else I wanted to say, but there probably isn't. I mean, support that. All the updates will be there, basically. I'll put something on my own website at some point too, because GoFundMe, it provides some good features, but there's no way that I've found of linking directly to a specific update. That you just go in at the top page and then it says updates and then it says there are others, and you end up with this awful big scrolly thing. It's terrible. The plus side of GoFundMe is that the funds get processed quickly. Oh, I should say I have set a third target. I've been a bit vague about how everything's gone. It's just taken a lot longer to deal with everything than I thought. The freelance work has just sort of been off in the background. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm over the whole thing. I had to buy a new desk, which is a good desk. I've got a proper raise and lower desk, which I haven't played around with properly yet, but that really helped. I'm sitting on a really shitty wooden chair at the moment. I'm actually very happy in Campsie. You wouldn't know it looking at me now, but I'm really, really pleased with the move. It's made a lot of difference to me already. I'm just very tired tonight for some reason. I mean, I sleep badly. I think you all know that. Okay, have you had enough of me? Let me just check if there's anything there. Okay, yeah, the early access vinyl. I mean, I'll post a list online. What else is happening? Late. Oh, see, you do see the complete history of KGB there next to the quoll. This is the Oleg Gordievsky book. Oleg Gordievsky, his story is amazing. Actually, people might want to go for that. That's a fat paperback. It's not in really the best of condition. But Oleg Gordievsky was head of the KGB station in London for a long period during the Thatcher era, I want to say. He also happened to be a double agent and working for MI6. He also, for a period, was working as an historian in KGB headquarters, and that's where he had access to a lot of stuff. And he wrote a history of the KGB. He also has an amazing story, if you find it, of how he was brought back from London to Moscow, and he thought, "Oh no, they've uncovered me. I'm screwed," which they had. But he triggered his MI6 escape plan and was driven across Russia to the Finnish border in the boot of a car, and there's a whole series of adventures along those lines. So that's Oleg Gordievsky. What else is there? Yes. How do you say you had that Gordievsky book as a youngster? Bloody hell. Do not sell her book to RFK Jr. Oh, he'll love it. He'd love it. More herbals. Reload the page. You get it. Yeah, look, I don't know. YouTube's live streaming. I mean, maybe it's my end. The thing critical for live streams is usually the upload speed consistency, not. I'm just rambling now, aren't I? Come on, tell me a joke. Tell me a joke quickly. Otherwise, I'll just go away. Unless you want to call up anything else you can see behind me. If you see Merbers from Earth behind me on the shelf, let me know. You're doing better than we did. I can't find it anywhere. This is just so unprofessional. Oh, dear. I'm going to go away now. That's the URL. You can message me there. You know how to find me. You will follow me on the socials. If you don't, it's on my YouTube profile, really, isn't it? And that's enough from me. Good night. Oh, that's not going to work. Excellent. Now it will.